Today we got Michael Jordan's evolution as a scorer from baby Jesus to black Jesus. So this should be interesting. You know what to do if you're new. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Let's get it.
By many as the greatest of all time. The six-time NBA champion never once lost in the NBA Finals. He started dominating right when he came into the league and continued to dominate until he retired. But what was it that allowed him to dominate his entire career? And how did he evolve his game to continue to get better as each year passed? Coming into the NBA, a skinny kid named Michael Jordan took the league by storm, averaging 28 points per game as a rookie. What made Jordan so special early on was his uber athleticism combined with skill that we had never really seen before. Jordan had this ability to take off at almost any given moment and seemed to just soar through the air as he took flight. His game early on was very much so built around his athleticism. He could take flight off of either 1 foot or 2 feet for a dunk. Jordan had this quick burst of speed where he could easily drive by a defender, and once he got downhill, take off in an instant to rise up for a dunk. There seemed to be almost no setting where he couldn't take off in a second. Watch how he flies down the court, and if we pause right here, you would probably assume with 3 defenders around him and the angle he's at that this will end up in a layup, but instead he quite literally just flies through the air and dunks it. What was so impressive was that he could take off from these incredibly awkward positions, taking off down the lane through 4 defenders, jumping off his left foot on the left side of the rim, and turning in mid-air to face away from the hoop with his back to the defender and throw down a one-hand backwards dunk over him. This contributed to more than just dunks. He could attack, take off, and almost float in the air over the defense to lay the ball up. Just watch how he jumps off too and literally floats over the help side defender, adjusting his shot to finish the layup. When he rose up to shoot, he could quite literally rise up over defenses to lay up the ball or get a shot off. When he attacked, he had this slithery driving ability that allowed him to just slide right by the defense and get to the basket. Here he's being guarded by Dominique Wilkins, and he's able to rip right, just barely squeezing between Dominique and the out of bounds line, and gets in front of him to rise up for this dunk. For how young and athletic he was, he played with great patience and pace. Here he slowly dribbles off the screen, waiting for the perfect time to attack before attacking right by both defenders and getting to the rim for a layup. He knew exactly.
What I'm noticing, he had gears. So he was always in first gear, coming up the court, then second gear, and then he just blows by defenders. By third gear, I wasn't stopping him. I don't want to know what like the 5th gear looked like. You know what I'm saying to you? And then the reaction time from him compared to the defender, it looks like they're not playing defense, but they are. They actually are trying, but they can't get to him. He's too fast. He's too quick. And then the moves, the bag. When you have a bag in basketball, it makes it so hard to determine what you're going to do. If, like, let's say you're a post player and you got only hook shots, that shit is easy to guard. But when you play an MJ, he might pull up a midi. He might dunk on you. He might lay up. He might pass it. So it's so many options when he's playing. It makes it damn near unstoppable. I ain't going to say damn near. Unstoppable to guard that.
The right moment to attack, jogging up the ball, and basically accelerates with 2 dribbles right through traffic past everyone to get a layup. When he rose up around the rim, he had some great touch to pair with his athleticism. Jordan could attack down the lane, adjusting his shot in the air and seem unbothered. Watch how on this fast break, the defender wraps up Jordan. Yet despite being fouled and having the ball at his hip, Jordan is able to flick the ball up while falling away from the basket and still gently touch the ball off the glass and into the hoop. When you combine his touch with all his other athletic features and ability to get down the lane, it made for some incredible finishes. He basically combines it all here, patiently waiting to drive before turning the corner, sliding right past the defender, floating in the air as he takes off with the entire defense surrounding him, and floats the ball over all of them and makes it. We see a great example of it here, where he gets past the first defender, drawing 3 help side defenders where he floats over all of them as he adjusts his shot in the air, and gently touches the ball off the glass as he gets fouled for the and one. This only continued to help him score throughout his career, getting more advanced throughout the years, ripping through, rising up, and swinging the ball from his left to his right hand, and then finishing the swing layup with his inside hand on the left side. As he got older, he became much more fluid on his attacks and takeoffs, taking off of 1 foot and throwing down this poster slam over the help side defender.
And the ability to palm the basketball is super huge, because then he could control it. Like, my hands are not big at all. Like, they kind of big, but they ain't that big. When I was playing basketball, it was hard for me. And I used to love to go to the rim. I'm not really a great shooter. I'm from New York. You know, New York people can't shoot to save their life. We play make and we could dribble. But I used to go to the basket, and it was hard for me to control it to where I wanted it to go. I had the vision that I wanted, but I didn't have the abilities, the tools. When you got big-ass hands, you can literally put the ball where you want to put the ball. You know what I'm saying? And no one can take it away from you. So that super helped that his hands was big enough to just palm that shit. I think he said it in a video. It's like painting a picture for him. Like, you know what I'm saying, too? Like the basket is the canvas, and he has the paintbrush. And he just gets to do what he... Oh, damn. And he gets to do what he wants with the paintbrush. So it's just a beautiful thing to see, bro. And I'm loving this video because he slowed it down and he shows what he's able to do. And then, we can't forget... To be able to jump off 1 foot and then 2 foot makes you damn near unstoppable at the rim. Because usually you got 1 foot jumpers and then you got 2 foot jumpers. But to be both, at any time I could just take off. I mean, how is he not everyone's GOAT? I don't understand it. Maybe it's the social media era just waters shit down. But at the moment he was playing, I know everybody who loved basketball said he's the GOAT. Right? There's no way we could have had an argument that he was not the greatest basketball player ever. I know we could try to argue now because of social media and trolling. People be trolling and all types of stuff. But let's be honest, man. The tools is there. That's really what it is. The IQ and the tools that he had, it literally makes him the best.
And ripping past the defender and getting his hand right to the rim to avoid his shot getting blocked by the help side. But later in his career, he didn't quite have the takeoff he once had. While he was still incredibly athletic during his last 3 seasons with the Bulls, we can notice that he wasn't quite soaring through the air like he did in his younger years. Earlier in his career, a fast break like this would have just resulted in a dunk, but instead he jumps off 2 for a layup. Another example here where he gets the ball under the rim, and this used to result in him just rising up to dunk it, but now instead he opts for the reverse layup and doesn't really get as high off the ground. But this didn't hinder his scoring ability or dominance on the court. He found new ways to take control of the game. Later on in his career, he learned to use his body and play off 2 feet, learning to absorb contact on the drive from the defender while continuing to attack to get to the rim and take off in a more controlled setting off of 2. Off the catch here, he rips, jumps off of 2, absorbing the contact of the 2 defenders, and finishes the layup. Later on, Jordan had a much stronger frame, allowing him to absorb contact, drive through multiple defenders while jumping off 2, and still staying on balance to finish the shot. Compare this to earlier on where he was much more likely to jump off of 1 foot for takeoff. Him learning to play more off of 2 feet translated in a game built more around jump shooting compared to athleticism. You can tell.
What is your favorite version of MJ? I would love to know that in the comments. Leave a bunch of comments because I want to be down there seeing what is the favorite version of him like. Because he has 2 different versions. He got the shooting version and then he got the uber athletic version. For me, it's going to be young MJ. I'm going to be honest. Because he was just putting highlights up that was unstoppable. But the older version of him is the winner. The rings and all those things. So it would be very interesting to see the fans out there and what version of MJ is their favorite. I'm rocking with Baby Jesus, but if you like Black Jesus, it's all the same to me.
The jump shot used to be more of a last resort option, as he just continuously dribbled in place before realizing he doesn't have anything and just pulls the jumper. Another example here, he takes 1 dribble to his left, doesn't create any space, with his body not even facing the direction of the hoop, and jumps from this position to shoot the jump shot and makes it. Even a deeper jumper like this in front of the three-point line, he was only taking if the defense sagged off and allowed him to shoot. The mid-range jumper was the first step to the evolution of his jump shot, building his game around these mid-range pull-up jumpers where he rises up over the defense and shoots it over them, slowly adding moves like this hezzy into a hard between-the-legs step-back jumper, making some incredibly difficult shots in the mid-range as he takes 2 dribbles left, spins back right, and shoots this one-leg fadeaway as he falls down and makes it. In his last few years with the Bulls, he became much more comfortable pulling up for these longer range shots. This became a staple part of his game, shooting way more twos with range, becoming more comfortable shooting from beyond the arc with his catch-and-shoot jump shot, where literally a wide-open 3 beforehand might have caused hesitation to shoot despite being wide open. He even found simpler ways to get to his pull-up as he changes speed to attack.
If people don't know, the further you come from the basket, the less control you have over the jump shot. So you see the angles he was able to take during the mid-range. That's why he was taking so many mid-range, because he could take any angle he wanted. And then he could just dictate it in the air to put it in the basket. The further you are out, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe if you Steph Curry, let's be honest, he do whatever he want. I just watched the game. Steph Curry do whatever he want behind that three-point line. But there's no other player in the history of basketball who is like Steph Curry. Same thing with MJ. He's able to dictate the mid-range and then take off these crazy awkward-ass angles. And I'm going to be honest, he wasn't straightening himself up. He was just being able, like I said, to control it, palming the ball, getting over the defense, and then just, it's beautiful, actually. It's beautiful to see it in slow motion. Slow motion MJ, it show you everything you need to know about basketball.
Then quickly stops to rise up for the jump shot before the defender can even get off the ground. Or using a one dribble right, pull back to his left with a crossover to shoot the basketball, while still getting to his one dribble pull up, slightly fading back so he has enough room to get the shot off. This evolved into his post game, where the post fade became one of his go-to moves later on in his career. He became exceptional with this fadeaway jumper out of the post, using his body to back his defender down and then turn to shoot the jumper as he was falling away. He developed great patience with this, backing down his opponent, waiting for the perfect opportunity to turn into the paint and shoot the fall-away jumper. He would learn to use this off the drive as he attacks, makes a half spin fake one way, and then turns back the other way for the fadeaway jump shot. Early on, he didn't have as much of a post game, which is typical for younger players, not really using his body on this post up and kind of just turning and using his jumping ability to get around the defender to shoot. As he did develop, he wasn't using as much patience early on, quickly faking one way to shoot the other, driving downhill just to stop, fake one way, and turn back in the other direction as he falls away. Compare this to later in his career, where he was much more patient at using his body to back his defender down before finally having enough space to flow into the post fade. This under control pace and poise he played with later on was a direct result of the improvements of his handle. Early in his career, Jordan handled the ball in almost an awkward manner. We would see some slick moves like this with his hezzy into a triple between the legs then pull up jump shot, but he relied a lot on his quick first step to explode past the defender as he draws a foul here. And when he couldn't just get a burst of speed right off the first dribble, it might look a little bit more awkward, using these dribble combos that weren't the most fluid, until finally he gets down to the paint and throws up this ridiculous layup and makes it. Even here, it almost looks like he's being instructed to do a cone drill. Take one dribble right, make a between the legs dribble, take one dribble left, and shoot the ball. Jordan never really developed a bag, but he had these simple moves to flow into to create off the dribble, using a double in and out on the fast break to get by for a dunk, attacking left, and then crossing over right, only to cross back over to his left to shoot a pull-up jump shot. You can tell how much smoother his moves got as he got older, going from between the legs hanging in the air, then using one quick crossover to rise up to shoot. Learning to be under complete control while creating space, crossing over from right to left attacking, then spinning back right as his defender tries to cut him off to flow into a jump shot. All of this led to Jordan dominating his competition. Younger Jordan's game was built mainly around athleticism with his speed and high-flying jumping ability. While older Jordan could still get up to throw down, his game was built more so off of pace, skill, and using his body to get to his jump shot. I'd say during his first 3 championships from 1990 to 93, MJ had the perfect blend of skill and athleticism. He was still incredibly athletic and could jump out the gym with some high-flying dunks, yet
I love how he broke that down, because a lot of people don't realize that the athleticism with the skill set, it makes him literally the greatest player of all time. Because usually you have someone like uber athletic, or you have someone super skilled, but they're not as athletic, or they're not as tall. I mean, this is the perfect NBA player. 6'6", could jump over everybody, could damn near do everything. You don't need all that extra dribbling. Usually, extra dribbling comes for smaller players to have to get open. You know what I'm saying, too? But when you're 6'6", you could rise above defenses. You could fade away, and nobody can contest your shot because you're tall. So it definitely gives it a crazy, crazy ass dimension.
Showcased a very polished skill set that allowed him to create off the dribble, finish at the rim, and get to his jumper. Regardless, he dominated his entire career, finding a new way to dominate as each year passed. Like Jordan, many other star players evolved their game to dominate throughout the years, which is how they became all-time greats. So if you would like to watch a similar video on how Kobe Bryant evolved as a scorer,
I mean, Kobe had to get in that bag too. As you get older, you can't jump as high, so you have to fill out the defense. But just seeing how his dribbling developed, his understanding for basketball developed, it speaks to why he got all them goddamn rings. Because he was already uber talented and skilled and could jump out the gym, but then you put it all together with the fundamentals of basketball, which, I'm going to be honest, Michael Jordan probably got the perfect fundamentals. It does look like he's dribbling in like cone drills, but that's because the fundamentals is there. You don't got to do all that extra shit that don't result in nothing. You know what I mean? The evolution of Michael Jordan. It's a beautiful thing to see. I need y'all down in the comments leaving a like button, but definitely down in the comments letting me know which version of MJ is your favorite.